All of these resorts are on very large lakes. In some cases, they are leased out to individuals to operate as motels and resort centers. This particular one is a very ideal resort. It's located approximately 13 or 14 miles due west of Durant, Oklahoma, which is on the highway between Dallas and Oklahoma City. I'm sorry, Dallas and Tulsa. The facilities here at this particular resort are a 3,000-foot long runway that runs north and south into prevailing winds, and rather rugged wooded terrain all around. It's on the shore of Lake Texhoma here in the area near Madill, Oklahoma. It's called Catfish Bay, as this particular arm of the lake is. And next to the lodge is a privately operated marina. Also across from the lodge is a golf course, an 18-hole golf course, beautifully maintained. They have tennis courts, swimming pools, badminton court, and basketball courts, all these things for young people. They also have swings and slides for the smaller children. In addition to the 3-story lodge there, they have a considerable number of cottages that are very well made and set up in pairs. And at the present time, we're exploring the idea of having our next gathering at this place and utilizing 2 of these rather large cottages to have our social hour, since this particular county is a dry county. And we also are thinking about having a catered barbecue at this place. We'll be turning you over to the camera on the field, and you'll be seeing all of the T-18 people in their airplanes that arrive there.
Tonight, the T-18 Fly-in. May the 9th, the T-18 Fly-in and family reunion. Present time, we have about 15 airplanes here at about noontime. And as we go down the line here, we have perfect weather today. The temperature is about 82 degrees, very light wind. Very shortly, we'll be going down the line of airplanes and introducing you to the various owners and their airplanes. There's some absolutely beautiful airplanes here today. This is a parking area just to the northeast of the end of the runway, which is right over that airplane right there. And as we pan around towards the east, up there about a half a mile is Lake Texhoma Lodge. A little further to the north here is a marina. This airplane right here is from Michigan, Dick Amsden. AMSDEN. He came in yesterday, along with 2 others that were early arrivals. Next airplane is Carl and Maisie Lipscomb's T-18 from Lamar, Missouri. Another beautiful airplane. This was formerly a prize winner. It went to the Dayton Air Fair as a representative of the T-18s some years ago. Going down the line here now, this next one is Dean Cochran's airplane from Broomfield, Colorado, a suburb of Denver. He came in yesterday also. You may know Dean as he is a manufacturer of elaborate, beautiful exhaust systems, crossover exhaust systems that most of the T-18s use. Cali is open here. We'll zoom in here and let you see what a beautiful engine installation this is. There's Dean Cochran here. Was it you started this airplane?
Oh, golly.
Can you remember back that far?
It was, I believe it was 1963. And I didn't get it finished until 1978.
And it was in the age-hardened condition when you finished it.
That's right. First airplane to ever fly in the age-hardened condition.
Next little beauty is from Eden, Oklahoma. This is Gary Green, T-18. 180 horse and constant speed prop. Oh, I'm sorry, this one does not have a constant speed. Now we have a new arrival here. This is Jim Prince. Young fella in here in the right seat. I think a lot of you will know is John Walton from Houston. Young man, hey,
Wow.
I say before you get out, would you give us your name, please?
Kevin.
And still to come here. Now we're looking up in the other direction here. A couple of new arrivals. And there's that character John Walton and Lee Walton. Just climbing in his airplane for Hiley from the Tampa, Florida area. Down here at the end is Leroy Holtz. It's one of a fairly new airplane. He hasn't had a chance to paint it yet. Leroy said he's got about 150 hours on it now. And this one is Steve Hawley's airplane from Tucson, Arizona, formerly of Tulsa. Some of the people said that Steve had this little prop out in the rain and that it warped out of shape. He says, though, that the shape out towards the tips is due to the airplane going at Mach 1 that prevents the tips back. I don't know whether his new one is the same thing or not.
It's easy to see in the air with that fan. Well, this is the only other one that I've seen.
Now this little beautiful airplane is Dave Eby's brand new airplane. It just barely had enough time on it to fly it over here to the fly-in. Dave Eby is a retired Air Force. Now this is the fly-in viewed from another direction. In just a few moments, we're going to show you something very special. Now you know the AIDS virus today is very, very popular. But for years there's been another virus that infects people for which there is no cure. It's called the T18 bug. In a few minutes we will show you what a person looks like that's been bitten by that bug as they come in from their very first flight on a T18. So, I want to see what kind of a smile that you can put out there.
Dick, he says we just sold another T18. I'm not sure what that means. Back off.
When?
To Dick Amston from what part of Michigan is it, Dick?
Mount Pleasant over there. Makeup.
Makeup, okay.
We're from Mount.
Okay, now, when was it that you started this T18?
We bought the plans in January 1978. And another guy and I, we started in on it, and he made all the machine fittings, and I did all the layout of the parts. And I used the wife's dining room table and with a quilt on that, and zinc chromate the sheets out in the garage, and then bring them in and lay them on a table. And I had 2 floodlights clamped to the chandelier. I worked right on the dining room table doing all the layout work.
About when did you finish the airplane?
1983, in March of 1983 is when we first flew it.
And you got what engine and prop in it?
Got a 150 horsepower Lycoming, and I got a 76 by 66 diameter tension wooden prop on it.
Okay.
It'll, at 2350, it indicates 160, which is pretty accurate.
Okay.
Top speed's 191 at 2650 RPM.
Yeah. And stall indicated about 65 or 60?
No, we're down to 62 on the stall speed.
That's about average.
Empty weight was 926.
Okay, let's do a paint job right here. Beautiful paint job. And the interior here. panels. Dick, you want to point out anything of interest there on your panel?
We have an SRD Loran over here. This is a new Terra radio with a glide slope. And I made this hood. That came off of a big 1-liter Coke bottle. Works pretty good.
Great.
And other than that, it's a full panel.
Uh-huh.
Primer over here. Then we have electric trim. Electric trims on the stick here, and we have mic buttons on either stick with the intercom right through the radio. Down here we have a flap switch, electric flaps on it.
Anything particular that you can think of that was really original that you did? Any modifications or?
On the panel I had this oak veneer put on here.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
I thought it looked pretty nice. I took it to a cabinet shop and they glued that right on there, contact cement.
Very nice. Well, okay, Dick, and thank you for congratulations on a beautiful airplane. Thank you. An old friend of mine, Randall Woolway here from Cassville, Missouri, that's up in the southwest part of Missouri. And Randall's one of these younger fellas, 76 is it, Randall?
Yeah, 76.
And to have more fun than the law allows. When did you start building this airplane, Randall? Do you remember?
1972, and then in 1975 I started making parts, and I worked it up until the early part of 1980, and I had it ready to fly, and I flew off my 40 hours and got it licensed, I believe it was in September 1980, and been flying ever since.
So you got about how many hours on it now?
180.
180. You got a 180 horse engine in here, isn't it?
180 horse engine, a Hartford prop.
Yeah, is it constant speed?
Constant speed.
Constant speed. And you've got the rat tray cowl on it. Do you remember what it weighed?
It shut off in.
6 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Max,
Randall's panel.
on this one, I put a floating panel from my secondary panel in it. And it's got a full panel for everything.
So your panel's back from the dash frame at 3 or 4 inches, isn't it?
Yes.
Still in the way of ventilation.
Well, it ventilates from the wings, about 3 feet outboard on each side, and it comes into the cockpit right down by your feet.
Yeah, I think I can see it down there.
And then I have a way of eliminating this air to bring that air in by suction. And then the suction's in the back part of the cabin.
I see you've got your fuel shut off right down there on a little panel right in the middle. Okay. Okay, Randall, we thank you kindly. Special words to say about fitting these canopies other than it's hard to do?
It takes lots of time. I mean,
which is just about McAllister, isn't it?
Right, 5 miles south.
And Leroy, when did you first start building this airplane?
About 6 years ago.
And you just flew, was it this past year, or in '86 was the first flight?
86. 86, just before ice coming.
And you got how much time on it now, approximately?
About 125 hours.
And you got what engine and prop in here?
I got the IO 360 engine and a constant speed prop. Got it don't have the long extension, and I got a.
Oh yeah, you made your own extension for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's worked good so far.
And you're going to be painting it here pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to take it home and tear it down as soon as this is over. I got a lot of cleanup to do on it, you know, before I get ready. But I hope to have it painted by ice cream.
Have you got your paint scheme figured out yet?
No. I'm arguing with my wife. She wants one color and I want another, you know, but probably wind up painting her color.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's go around the cockpit and see what we find.
All right.
Anything on your panel there that you think needs pointing out?
Well, no, it's pretty well standard. The only thing, these 4 screws, you can take those out and then pull these pip pins, and I can remove my whole instrument panel. Of course, I have to, disconnect these, but this whole thing is fastened on with 2 screws at the bottom, and you can take those 2 out and drop
the throttle panel drops down of it.
And then you can just remove the whole thing. Makes it pretty easy to get in behind.
And you got about everything in the instrument line in there?
All except gyro. Don't have an artificial horizon or a DG. I got a vertical hard compass.
See, you've got isn't that a Loran I'm looking at?
Right. It's a 612B Loran. KX170 radio.
Yeah. Okay. And did you all do your own upholstery?
Right, my wife did the upholstery.
She did?
Yeah.
Did a real nice job.
First time she ever did anything like that. But,
she did great. You've got the deck cut open back here behind the seat. That's pretty handy in flight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real handy to get luggage in and out. You don't have to lift the seats forward.
Yeah.
Well, he said it wouldn't come out of a spin. It spun down from over, he's up about 12,000 feet, and it was below 8 when it finally came out.
And it went flat with him?
Right,
I never heard of a T-18 going flat. I can't imagine
and
why.
he said, of course, he said he thought if he had the engine died, he said he believed he could have powered out of it easy if the engine been running, but it didn't restart it, you know.
Now we're going to be talking to Dave Eby from Wichita Falls, Texas. And Dave just finished this airplane just barely in time to make the fly-in. He was given a 40-hour restriction by the FAA to fly it, and he just finished that up this morning. In fact, you had to fly a couple extra hours, didn't you, to be legal?
I flew 2 hours before I brought it over here this morning. The airplane was certified on the 27th of April. That's only 12 days ago, and we've done a lot of work on it since then.
You really have. I'm trying to remember, when did you start this airplane, Dave?
1976. It's been a long road since 1976 to get it.
You haven't worked on it continuously since then. I remember you had.
No, there are a lot of other projects that got in the way of it.
Yeah. And now you got your 40 hours in the seat. You've got a 160 horse Lycoming in here.
Yeah,
it's carbureted.
That's right, D2A.
Yeah.
And it has a pace setter 6866 prop on it, and it doesn't have enough pitch. It's turning just a little too fast. At lower altitudes, at full throttle, it's turning up to about 2,900 RPM.
You don't think maybe you've got such a high or such a low drag coefficient that you cross over speed?
No, I think it's the prop.
Anyway, you think your airspeed's reasonably accurate, huh?
Yeah, I've checked it on a measured course and against other airplanes.
Well, let's go around and take a look at the instrument panel and see what all's inside there.
Okay.
Look at your panel here now. See, you have everything except artificial horizon in there, don't you?
Right. Don't need one of those.
No.
Too much money and too much weight.
Right. And
I've got a Century 1 in it, and a couple of Escort 2s, and a encoding transponder.
And what is this you got up over here on the right side?
Well, I didn't like the radios bashing around in the knee area, so I built a box to put a couple of Escorts. I have one of them pulled out right now, but that box allows the radios to clear the fuel tank and also lets the transponder sit in there.
That's interesting. That's a different application. That's one nice thing about these home builds. Every one of them are different, aren't they? See, you've got electric flap, haven't you?
Yes. Flap switches over here.
Oh, okay.
And electric trim switches over here.
Oh, okay. And your throttle quadrant, you can drop that out there pretty easy, can't you?
Well, yeah, but you don't need to. This particular throttle and mixture allow you to disconnect.
Oh, okay.
Right in back of it.
Okay. So if you want to get your panel down, no sweat.
And I don't understand. She said he wrinkled the wing.
Texhoma Lodge, T18 Fly-in. And Bryant Rowland from Wichita Falls, Texas. See, Bryant, when was it you started this airplane? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was about early 70s, 72, 73. Finished up in April of 78.
And then the prop you got in here now?
150 engine, 150 horsepower, Lycoming 0320. Prop is a metal prop that's been repitched. Did that because I fly instruments with the airplane quite often.
Oh, you do?
And a little bit less erosion, so I'm told, on the full prop. So that's the reason.
Let's take a look inside your cockpit. Okay, so you do have artificial horizon here, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I rigged this out completely, like I said, for instrument flying. I've got a nav 12 with a glide slope. It's in the shop right now. I'm but the 2 navs and the 2 comms. The DME and transponder and all the stuff that I felt that I needed for the instrument flying and all of the flight instruments. These are shock mounted on the gyroscopic type instruments are.
See, you got a mic switch on your stick there?
This one is a push-to-talk mic switch or one autopilot that works real well flying instruments. It's coupled to the tied in the aileron, and it couples with the radio here, which couples it to the VOR or localizer, either one. Does a real nice job in this airplane.
What happened to who? We're talking to Lee Riley from Wagner, Oklahoma, and his wife, is it Elvina? Elwina, okay. And Lee, when was it you started this airplane?
Oh, 1975. When I first came to Wagner, I retired from American Airlines and started building my idea of a home, the best one made.
And you flew it first year?
And we flew it in 1980 for the first time, 5 years, almost to the month after.
Oh, such fun there is.
Yeah.
Okay, meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Yeah.
So you got a 150 in this?
I have a 150.
And the Cassidy prop?
Cassidy prop.
Yeah.
One of the first homemade props that Cassidy put out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You made that from the kit, didn't you? Okay.
Actually, it wasn't Cassidy. Yes, it was Cassidy.
Yeah, it was Cassidy. See, what all you got in the panel?
Oh, I have a KX-145, and I just put a Loran in yesterday.
What kind was it?
This is a Narco. Let's see, it's an LRN 820.
And you love
we
it?
love it.
You love it already?
Already. One flight.
Yep. What did this airplane weigh up to, do you remember?
904 pounds.
904, a little bit on the light side.
That was right inside, about specs, I think, according to Thorpe.
Stand by just a second. Lee Riley's panel here. You want to point at the various things there?
Well, this is the communications and VOR, and that's my new Loran. And I'm going to put a back in another pocket in there to keep maps.
That's a good idea. Very good. You got artificial horizon there, have you?
Yeah, I have artificial horizon.
And turn indicator.
Good gyro.
Well, you all have fun going over there. I'll see you a little later this evening.
Okay, Dick.
Now we're talking to Nicky Buchanan that came over here from the Carolinas. Where is it in the Carolinas, Nick?
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. That's north, isn't it?
That's in the central part of the state.
Yeah. But North Carolina, actually.
It's North Carolina.
Yeah. And tell us a little about your T18. How long have you had it now?
I just acquired it in December of last year. I bought it from John Whittington, who had it for approximately 3 years. He bought it from the widow of the original builder of it, Robert Godwin Jr.
Yeah.
And he built the airplane in 1969. And you can kind of see it's still like the old T18, the old type cow.
Well, that's the same
shield.
That's the same type of cow I've got on mine, so it doesn't turn me off particularly.
I think it's a real pretty cow. It's different.
It's pretty efficient, really.
And after looking at all the airplanes on the field, mine doesn't look as streamlined as a lot of them, but...
What engine you got in this?
It's the Lycoming 180.
180?
Fixed pitch prop.
Fixed pitch...
metal installed.
Metal prop.
Okay. Yeah. And according to the original specs on it, at 2,500 prop on it, and it's pretty close to the figures on it too. I found out at low altitude, it will indicate that. It's pretty close.
Left side of your instrument panel, Nick, and and sweep over to the right side.
As you can see,
what radio equipment have you got in there now?
I got a King KX175B, an Edo-Wire transponder, an 80F timer, and an encoding altimeter. And I got the one Navcom, and I got
most all your switches and circuit breakers over there on the far right side of your
circuit breakers are over here on the bottom right side.
See, now this one was one that had the most everything is it's right on the dash panel. Your instrument panel is pretty close to the dash panel, isn't it? It's not
right, it's all right there. It's just real close, and it's all lighted. It's, you know, it's it's certified for night VFR.
Oh, it is?
Good. Day night VFR. It's certified for that, and it could be certified for IFR. You know, if I want to go to all trouble with checks and stuff.
Automatic focus off.
Oh, sorry, you didn't get it.
Well, I've got them 2 or 3 times. I'll catch them again. Net right here. And Walt, tell me about how long ago did you get this airplane?
I've had it for just a little less than 2 years.
Yeah. You don't care a thing about it.
I wouldn't say that. I really love that little bird.
Yeah. Just until the noise was done.
Yeah.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll take a picture.
Well, thank you.
Okay. And you've had it 2 years. See, what engine and prop does this one have?
It has the IO 320A1B. No, B1A. That's the fuel-injected 160-horse engine with the constant speed prop.
Does this have? Is this the flatback engine, or does it have? Is it unifocal mount?
It is flatback.
Flatback. Yeah. Let's see. Take a look at your. That's your air cleaner there.
That's the air cleaner right here, yes. And it's not as clean as it should be because I'm using it day in and day out to travel. So,
what kind of a filter are you using in there, Walter?
Well, frankly, I'd have to show you because.
Well, that's all right. Don't bother.
It's a dry filter.
That's okay. Looks just like an automotive filter. I guess it is
an automotive filter, very much like it.
Yeah. The point we again interrupt our video presentation. It's getting a little bit late in the day at this point, and most everyone is getting ready to head up to the lodge, about a half mile up there. And we'll have a little social hour up there in one of the second floor rooms that's designated as the bass fishing lodge or some such name as that. It's actually a small bar in there. This is a dry county, and so about the only thing that you can get in the way of refreshments is beer. After a little session there, everyone went down on the first floor there to the large restaurant. They have a very large restaurant facility there. It's broken up into several rooms. And the particular one we used was called the Circle Room. And we had a few minutes there to sit and talk with and get acquainted with everybody before they served the dinner. We had a buffet dinner this time, and fairly well catered, and it was rated as about a medium sort of dinner. After dinner, we had an excellent after-dinner speaker in the person of Walter Borner from Wichita. Walter is an executive with Beech Aircraft now, and he has flown their citations on many missions all over the world, actually, in dealing with various dealers and distributors. Now he has sort of a desk job, he said. Anyway, he gave an excellent account of his flying career beginning in the early part of World War II, where he was a pilot for the Luftwaffe, flying mostly ME-109s, and he flew a large number of missions, as all German pilots did. He later on flew the first ME-262s, which were the first operational jets, combat jets, or twin-engine jets, actually. and his accounts of flying combat noses were very interesting also. Later on, he joined the U.S. Air Force and had some various special service missions. And anyway, we'll let you listen to his speech after the dinner. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough light to really highlight his features there while he was giving his talk. However, I think you'll enjoy the audio part of it at any rate. So now we'll join you inside the lodge.
Real vibration.
But anyway, now we're going to be talking to Steve Hawley from Tucson, Arizona, which you say is going to be your permanent base of operations from now on, you hope?
I was a migrant worker for 18 years. Now I get to stay in one place.
Let's see now, when you built this airplane, Steve, how many places did you build it in? Over how many years? You started when, was it?
My wife bought the plans for me for my birthday in 1972, and I moved.
Where were you then?
In Crescent City, California.
Yeah.
And then we moved to San Jose, then to Lompoc, California, near Vandenberg Air Force Base, then to Glendale, California, and then all the time I was building pieces, and I was fortunate in Southern California. I had worked in John Thorpe's shop, so I used all of his templates, and I laid out all of my skins in John's shop, so I didn't really have any layout work to do. But other than that, I built everything. I didn't buy any kits. And then we moved to Buena Vista, Colorado, which is up in the San Arkansas River Valley near Salida. And from there, we went to Aberdeen, Mississippi, and from Aberdeen, Mississippi to Skytook, Oklahoma, and I actually flew the airplane in Skytook, Oklahoma.
When was that now?
In September '79. It took 7 years. I moved 7 times and in 4 states while I built the airplane. I built a trailer that was nicer than the airplane to haul this thing around.
Do you still have it?
No, as soon as I flew the airplane, I sold the trailer.
You did, huh?
It's gone.
Tell us about this prop you've got, Steve.
This propeller was built by Bernie Warnke in Eloy, Arizona, although now...
Now, wait a minute before you tell me about it. Is it true that you left it out in the rain and it warped it so badly here? We look at these blades.
I had it up to about 260 miles an hour one day, and it bent the prop back.
I see.
In the wind.
Uh-huh. Well, we got that out of the way. Well, let's get down to the real truth. What kind of performance are you getting out of it? Are you really happy with that prop?
I have to compare it to the only other propeller I've ever flown it with, and that's a cut-down M76DM that was purchased from Santa Monica Propeller Company.
Yeah.
And I had all of the vibration tests done and all, and it was a 68-inch, 86-inch pitch fixed metal propeller.
You had this 180-horse engine in there with,
right.
As I remember, you've got a different type of induction system in it where your cowl down here, you don't take any outside ram area in any place, do you?
Yeah, I was one of the fortunate few. I bought a aluminum cowl from John Thorpe back in about '74. And I just couldn't bring myself to cut a hole in the bottom of it.
Oh, no, that'd been sacrilegious, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it sure would. So I spent about 6 months building a homemade induction system, and I use a Marvel Schubler HA6 carburetor with a homemade induction system.
Yeah, I think we put some pictures of that in the newsletter, didn't we?
Right, sure did. And I take the air for the induction system up over the right-hand rear cylinder that goes down. And it's very efficient. I don't think I lose anything.
You don't even have to use carburetor heat, do you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, have you got a carburetor heat box in it?
I sure do. Very elaborate, and it works well.
Yeah.
Anyway, the metal propeller performed well, but I never actually ran any tests. I flew it for about 360 hours with the metal prop, and then had an unfortunate incident and bent it, and that forced me into getting another propeller. And Bernie Warnke had his shop at Eloy, Arizona then, and he's since moved to Ryan Field in Tucson. And I was in his shop one day before I bent the metal one, and I told him I wanted him to build me one that had this funny curve to it, not because it's more efficient, but just because it looks good.
Yeah.
And he told me that he advised me against it because he said I can't build it that with this curve and still make it flex like the almost constant speed is supposed to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And I told him I don't care. I like people to stand there and say, "Wow, look at that." And that's the only reason I chose it that way. But that's the story.
So it has no real aerodynamic advantage as far as you know, huh?
No. But it's smooth as silk, and my old metal prop, when I would fly full power in level flight, turning 2,700 RPM, there was a harmonic vibration about every 2 seconds. The airplane would go,
yeah.
It just...
You didn't like?
Oh, boy, no. I didn't fly full bore very much.
So this one got rid of all that, huh?
Smooth as silk. You can fly all day.
Did you get any improvement at all on takeoff and climb or high speed?
Bernie, I have great confidence in his flying ability, and I just gave him the keys to the airplane and told him, when you're building the prop, bolt it on, take it up, test it, come back, and I want it to turn 2,700 RPM in level flight, and just do whatever you have to do to make it work. So he went up and flew the airplane, and he tweaked it, and in fact, he tried to make it so that it would flex in flight. But you notice this black is up this high. Normally it's about to here. And he cut it so thin, trying to make it flex, that the airplane, the propeller actually
was fluttering a little.
So he cut too much wood out. There wasn't any strength left in it. So he put carbon fiber from here to here.
From where to where?
From here to here.
Yeah.
In the black area in the back. And that's why it's black up so far.
Okay.
In the back, on the face of the prop there. But I've never flown it in rain, although he assures me that with this space-age plastic on the leading edge, that it won't hurt it a bit.
High-density urethane.
It's soft. I mean, it's limber yet.
Yeah.
That's the story of the propeller. I love it.
Well, now let's go into the story about your wheel pants here now. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, that's better. I'm not sure I can get the detail real good on this camera, but if you point out where the crack is there in them, or where they're joined, the two halves are joined.
Okay, when I ground looped it over New Mexico on a dirt strip with rocks on it, I said to myself, I won't land on dirt strips anymore. But this is a high-performance airplane, and I don't think it's built for dirt rough field. And I wanted the wheel pants to be aerodynamically efficient, so I know that the intersection angle of the gear leg and the wheel pant is very dirty aerodynamically.
Yeah, right.
So I decided, though, even though it's larger in cross-sectional area, it's much more streamlined, this design. And some people think they look good, others think that they're kind of bulky and awkward looking.
Oh, I think they look great.
But aerodynamically, I think they're very, very efficient.
Absolutely.
And I built them, you can see, there's only, you can just barely get your fingers between the tire and the wheel pants anywhere around them.
How do you air them up? Do you have to take that back section off?
Yeah, there's a little...
Oh, you've got a little door there? Oh, yeah.
You can, this costs 69 cents at Cessna, and that's the only thing that costs less than $1 from Cessna aircraft right there. And it costs 69 cents, and you can just, I have a straight-in probe, and it takes about 2 minutes there a month. And since the hole, the cutout for the tires, they are much too small to go down over the top, I had to split the wheel pant right aft of the center line, and they come together this way. And that way I can keep it very tight to the tires.
What kind of a mold did you make there for that, Steve?
I used a white styrofoam that they use for insulation on houses.
Yeah.
And it's not at all compatible with, this is just boat resin type fiberglass. And the first one I didn't seal properly, and just the gases from the resin collapsed my mold.
Yeah.
And I believe it's that one over there, the rear end collapsed on it, and I have about 3/4 of an inch of microbloom, and it's very heavy. I plan on making new ones using these as a male mold.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna pour plaster over them, and then I can make any number of them that I want.
Yeah, good. That'd be real nice.
Yeah.
You don't. How much clearance do you have on the bottom there for between that and the pavement if you're going to land on pavement?
1 inch.
1 inch.
That's not very much.
No.
I don't even like taxiing on this grass.
You're going to make the bottoms of them, if you make a new set, going to make the bottoms of them a little thicker, so if you grind them off, you won't have to do so much on them.
I've already, you can see, I've ground these off several times just on rocks on the runway.
Yeah. Well, you had that bad experience with your tail wheel springs, didn't you?
Yeah, they
dinged your airplane up. You know,
that's my excuse. I ground looped it.
Well, you know, those tail wheel springs stretch, and if you let them get stretched too far, they're going to bite you.
Well, these didn't stretch. They're compression springs. The little clip, both of them pulled off, and they were gone.
On account of the real rough, rocky runway, huh?
Right. The tail wheel shimmied and vibrated in the rocks, and it just it came off.
Yeah. Your panel and everything, the details on it, I'll see if I can zero in on things a little for me. See, on the far left there is your, isn't that your CDI for your VOR, for one of your VORs?
Well, I just have a single. This is a complete radio and head itself.
Oh, okay.
It's self-contained.
And then this is a remote head right here.
No, where? This?
The second one up there on the top. No, or is that your directional?
That's just my DG.
Oh, okay.
I only have the one VOR.
I can't see very well through this eyepiece.
I have the basic flight instruments that I really don't know how to use any of them. They're more to impress people than anything else. All of the instruments work well. I bought all West-Tac gauges over here for the engine instruments, and
do they work out all right?
No, they're basically junk, and I'm going to replace them all.
That's what I'd heard. What have you got on the lower panel over here now? Right here, for instance,
I got a transponder and a 720 channel Narco COM 21, and this is a 200 channel Narco Nav 21, which is the non-TSO.
How far back from the dash panel is your instrument panel? About 4 inches, is it?
It's about 4.5 inches at the bottom and about 8 inches at the top.
8 inches, is that right?
It's part of 7 3/4 or 8.
A bit. And see, you still got the manual flaps and manual trim also? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little gearbox in there. I mounted on the inside instead of the outside. That's about the only change I made to the entire plan.
That saves a little comfort there.
It's very comfortable. It's interesting. You see, my sticks are bent, the control sticks.
Yeah.
And I extended the seats about 5 inches so that I get more support.
Yeah, that's
under my legs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're very comfortable.
Builders will like to know. What kind of, did you build these seats, or were they?
No, I built them myself.
Yeah.
The only thing I bought on the airplane was the roll bar and the landing gear from Merle Jenkins, and I built the canopy frame. I bought the glass, of course, from BG, and I bought the cowl from John Thorpe. And other than that, I built everything.
Built everything.
Yeah. There weren't kits for sale then like there were now.
Yeah, I remember you still had a bunch of tooling left over about 5 years ago.
I have a complete set of form blocks. Actually, the form blocks, a good portion of them were built by Russ Basie.
Oh,
I lived in Fresno. I graduated from Fresno State, and I bought his drill. I bought all of his tooling, Clecos, drill press, hand riveter.
Yeah, he really built a beautiful airplane, didn't he?
He sure did. He was a friend of mine. I was building a Stitch Playboy while he was building the...
oh, is that right?
Yeah, I'd go over to his house and drool. He was a good guy.
That's where you got the impetus to build a T18 from, then, I guess.
Well, that was my first exposure, but actually the guy that really convinced me to build a T18 was Lyle Fleming.
Oh, he was.
And I think most all of us know Lyle Fleming.
Yeah.
And he doesn't probably remember me at all, but he gave me a ride at the Reading Air Show back in about 72 or 3.
You hear that, Joe?
Yeah, what's that?
He got his first ride yesterday.
Oh. And we took off, and he let me fly it, and we were flying along in a Cessna 210 without the struts, the cantilever wing Centurion, went underneath us, and he said, let me fly it, and I'll show you something. And he wheeled that thing around, and we overtook and passed that Centurion in about 5 miles.
Yeah.
So I said, this is the airplane for me.
That's the airplane for you. Well, mighty fine, Steve. Thank you for your time this morning. I hope you have a nice trip back home. We sure had a good time here, didn't we?
We sure did. I hope we do this again next year.
Yeah. I see you still got the pitot out of the fin. You still like it?
Oh, it's to assemble it and fly it. I've been rebuilding it for 7 years, and 5 years. And when I get it done, then that pitot tube might interfere with the wing of the Cub.
Well, your wife doesn't give you any trouble for having 2 airplanes, does she?
No, but I think she put her foot down at 3.
Yeah.
I'm already
well,
about another one.
You might point out to her that if someone has 3 horses, nobody thinks anything. They say they're a sportsman, you know. But if you got 3 airplanes, you're some kind of a nut, aren't you?
That's right. She thinks it's fun.
Oklahoma. We interviewed Leroy, her husband, yesterday, and I don't know whether we got Gary on the tape or not, but anyway, this is a 2 T18 family now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And Leroy and Mary here and Gary Green were really responsible for this fly-in we had here, so we owe you our thanks. And we hope you have a nice trip home, Mary.
Okay,
do it again. Bye-bye. Talking to Maxine and Gary Green here, who are busily wiping the morning dew off of their beautiful little bird before they head home for Enid, Oklahoma. Gary and Maxine and Mary and Leroy Holt were all responsible for this great fly-in, and we hope this is going to be the first in an annual series, or actually this is our second fly-in, but we hope this will be an annual event from now on. Gary, when did you start building your airplane?
I started this in January of 78.
Where were you based then?
Travis, out
oh, you were?
Vacaville, California.
Yeah. And Maxine fought it for how long before she finally surrendered?
Well, she didn't fight this at all. I built a Cassett racer, and I was flying that.
Yeah.
And she got to coming out to the airport. There's a yellow County. There's 4 or 5 other T18s out there, and a B-4 that my hangar partner had. And when we would go flying that Cassett, being single place, she was just sitting out there on a stump for a while.
Pretty soon she started singing up.
She started getting the rides in these T18s, and they started outrunning my Cassett racer, and I decided that maybe that airplane wasn't all that bad. So she was very supportive of building the T18. And when I mentioned building that, well, she was all for it. And it went together quick because there was 4 or 5 airplanes out there, and Bill Cardoza and Garland Root and John Purvis, a lot of help. When I'd go out to work on it, usually one of those guys would show up and we'd be bending 10 all day out there and got a lot of progress real fast. So it was an easy airplane to build and went together real quick.
Yeah. When did you finish it? Do you remember?
July of 80.
80. And where were you based then?
Still there, Travis. I finished it in July of 80, and in August of 80 we moved back to Enid, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So we took the time off of it.
I neglected to tell everyone that you're... How long have you been in the Air Force now?
19 years and 5 months and 13 days.
I see. And how many minutes? You ought to know that, really.
I'm going to retire here about 7 months, 7.5 months.
Yeah, Gary's a major in the Air Force, flying those horribly underpowered T-38s.
It's a tough job.
Yeah, it's a dirty job, but I don't know. It takes a man of steel to be able to, to stand up to such stuff.
Brains of steel?
Yeah, brains of steel. Okay. See, you got 180 horse in this now, haven't you? And your prop is what?
That's a Cincinnati M76 blade off of a 180 horse Cherokee Arrow.
What do you got?
Cut down to 68 and twisted to 84.
84.
That's the same prop that...
and what kind of performance do you get out of it? Top is what?
It'll top out just a little over 200 indicated, maybe 204, 205, down at 2,000 feet.
What does it weigh empty, approximately?
I just reweighed it last year.
About
992, I think.
Yeah, that sounds that sounds reasonable.
About 990 pounds, somewhere like that.
Great. You want to go around on the other side and let's get a picture of your panel, and you can give me a rundown of what
you see. The rubber shock mount there. It's just a Cessna cushions. So it's shock mounted there and a shock mounted up here. I just took a 3 or a half-inch dowel rod about that long, mount to the bulkhead that's back up here.
Just as a standoff?
Just as a standoff, and then put one of these Cessna mounts in here. So it's shock mounted up here and down here. So the whole panel is shock mounted.
You can really tell on landings. You really need it, don't you? It really bounces a panel.
Where I noticed the difference was how much better the vertical card compass works with the less vibration.
Yeah. See, now you don't have an artificial horizon either.
No, I'm not running any vacuum systems. I'm running gravity feed on the gas. So if it ain't there, it can't bust.
See, when did you get the Loran C in there?
I put that in a year ago, this past winter. So I've had it in there a year and a half.
First time I've seen it.
Gosh, I don't know how I got along without that for so long. I took my old Cessna 300 radio out. I had a 360 channel comm nav that worked fine. But I bought that Escort 2, which is a shared system. I can either comm or nav, but not both, and put the Loran in there. And I haven't turned the VOR sight on that thing on for I don't know how long.
You didn't realize how badly lost you were all the time?
No. That Loran is super.
I see you've got your deck cut down or half.
Yeah.
Cut
I cut that out when we painted the airplane. I cut that deck out, reinforced it under here, then put a pretty heavy angle around there.
That's really a big help in flight, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You can get the cameras or whatever you want to.
Yeah, I really like that. And
what kind of paint did you use on this? You remember?
Imron.
It's
Imron.
Looks like it's really holding up good.
It's holding up pretty well. I made a mistake on this. I was convinced by a friend of mine who was a DuPont salesman to use 100S primer under it.
Oh.
And the primer sticks to the metal fine, but the Imron is not. Wherever place with a chip on it, the primer is still stuck to the base metal, but the Imron chipped off the primer.
Doesn't stick to the primer.
I would recommend using a good epoxy primer. I wouldn't use that 100S at all.
Yeah.
But Imron is fine paint, easy to use, held up well.
Anything different we haven't covered on this airplane that you can think of?
Oh, I've got electric trim in it instead of the standard trim, but it's just from here on back, it's all stock. I just put an electric car window motor on it to run that shaft.
Yeah.
And
you get,
other than that, it's absolutely...
You still have the manual flap?
Still manual flaps, yeah. Everything else is stock, T18, there isn't any changes on it.
You do the upholstery, Maxine?
Maxine and I did that. Her dad had a upholstery machine, and we bought that installation kit that Ken Knowles used to sell. I don't know if he still does or not. And just sewed the fabric over that and just glued it in there. So it's.
I notice you've got a pretty thin upholstery right here above waterline 42, this extrusion. That gives you a little extra shoulder room in here, a lot of the...
And you need it.
Yeah, boy, I see.
This carpeting back here is a indoor-outdoor carpeting that when you cut the edges, you don't have to whip stitch or serge the edges of it. It glues down, and you can you can wash it with MEK, lacquer thinner, or anything. It won't stain.
You use anything different on holding your canopy down that you can think of?
Well, I made these aluminum angles here.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to bow out.
Oh, yeah, you got
to pull and bow out a little bit.
You've got this little solid aluminum block, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right here that attaches to the frame, and then when it swings forward, this little pin drops into that block.
Yeah.
So that stopped it from swelling up in flight. Good, very good.
Thing for about 3 or 4 years before I had enough guts to take a Dremel tool to my plexiglass. But that's great. That you can open that thing up and you get a nice flow of cool air up over your shoulders, and it really works. It works fine, and it wasn't hard to cut it out at all. Do it in the summer when the plexiglass is warm, and you can sit there and take your Dremel tool and cut that out and dress it down with a file, and it's simple to make. It works well.
See, you got a nice little fairing around the base of your fin. Is that glass?
It's fiberglass.
Yeah. Okay. We forgot to cover.
All my time has been in military aircraft where you fly with a stick in the right hand and the throttle in the left. So I found it uncomfortable flying with the right hand on the throttle. So I put it over here. And that's just some scrap parts out of an old wrecked Mooney I bought to get the engine out of, and I whittled out a throttle quadrant there, a mixture in the throttle. And it's up above your leg. It's very comfortable. It's a very natural place for your hand to be.
What have you got on the dash frame down there? 2 or 3 things I can't.
Okay, that's carb heat. This is a little butterfly valve I have in my oil cooler to shut off the air to my oil cooler so I can get my oil temperature up high enough.
Yeah.
And this is just cabin heat. There's a slide valve down the firewall to pull cabin heat in.
Do you have anything over here on this other one? Time and everything, and again, we all appreciate your efforts in getting the fly-in going.
Well, I appreciate you coming and giving your support to our fair this weekend. And
have a good trip back home.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dick. The carbureted engine. The mold for this is one that Bill Cardoza made out in California. He still has the mold, and you can get the mold for that. Works real well with that Looney air box.
Yeah.
And
what about your cups there?
I made these. I glassed those up, just laid modeling clay up there and glass in the cups here. And I flew the airplane without these and without these, but with wheel pants. And I picked up about 5 knots putting the wheel pants on there, 5 mile an hour. And I picked up another 5 mile an hour putting these. They made as much difference putting those on as did the wheel pants.
And this is Jim Prince here from Wimberley, Texas. This is going home morning now for my fly-in. Jim, give me a quick rundown on where you got the airplane, how long, and so forth.
I bought the airplane in February of '86 from a fellow in Mount Vernon, Illinois. It had been owned for about 10 years before that by John Michaels in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Previous to that, Will Newbert owned the airplane.
Oh, he did?
And it was originally built by John Furco in Whittier, California.
Oh, yeah.
John claims it was the 5th one to fly. The newsletter says it's the 9th one to fly, but in any event, it's an old timer.
Yeah. But you're enjoying the heck out of it, huh?
I haven't quit dreaming since February 1986. If you don't believe me, ask John Walton. He accuses me of that every time I talk to him.
See, what engines this can go to?
It's got the 0320.
150 horse?
150 horsepower. And I'm turning an M76AM tension instrumental prop.
What kind of performance you getting out of it?
Get a good, honest cruise at 24 to 2450 of about 160 miles an hour.
Very good.
It'll top out a little better than that, but it sure runs.
You remember how heavy this airplane is, empty weight?
910 pounds.
That's good.
And it's probably about in the middle. There's not many lighter, there's some heavier.
Well, I'll get a brief look here at your panel and so forth.
This is mid-1965 panel layout.
Yeah, but it still looks very nice.
And this panel is mounted up in the way forward position, which makes it difficult to get radios and instruments and clear the fuel tank.
Probably one of these days you'll get the bug to put a new panel in it or something. Most everybody does.
If I can ever get to the point where I can quit flying it for more than a weekend at a time to work on it, why, that would be a project.
Right.
We're going to fix it and repaint it and upholster it.
Good. We'll get back with you later when you have a good trip home. Well, like I said, this is going home morning. Hate to have it all happen there, but the birds go in every different direction. We're talking to Nate Eastman from Kimball, Nebraska, and
I forgot to curl my mustache before we got
that's
started.
what I wanted to ask you about. There's a rumor that that mustache tickles your nose and makes you grin all the time. Is it that, or is it the T18? I don't know.
Well, really, it's the 18 that does that, but it gets the drooping when I get to flying too hard because the D's cooling down.
When did you start this airplane?
Oh, I started in 74. 74. Finished in 1982. 7 years.
Let's see what engine and prop you got in there.
I've got it like going 180 and a Hartzell drop speed drop.
And you get what kind of performance?
Oh, I cruise about 180 miles an hour. But, well, I cruise pretty high, so that's about what I figure. 160 knots.
Well, you spent a lot of your life in the Air Force, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So, you think that might have had, being a frustrated fighter pilot might have anything to do with that?
Yes, actually, I got right out of an F-86 and started building it and started flying.
That was Ollie?
Yeah.
He said it all.
Okay, let's get back to your airplane here. What have you got in the panel there? Is it full IFR? I think it is, isn't it?
Well, more or less. I don't fly at IFR, but it has capability of it.
Yeah. Now, once you go around the other side, it's a little unusual to carry fire extinguishers, and that's a good idea.
Well, it is. It's a little heavier than normal, but I think I'd buy a lighter weight one, but it's a good one.
Yeah. And you got the usual instrument grouping, I see there.
I've done something maybe that some people think isn't great, but all my switches are circuit breaker switches, so I don't have double switches. Double wiring. I thought it would eliminate a lot of wiring.
Yeah. Well, it looks like your switch location also is where it wouldn't hurt you if you came to a sudden stop. Like a lot of them, I have them kind of exposed there.
I keep my shoulder harnesses nice and tight.
What's with the little red handle there? Is that your gas shut-off?
That's my gas shut-off. And this is just a plug-in for my STS backup handheld radio.
Oh, I
can
see.
Just plug it in like a cigarette lighter.
Very good idea. And what have you got on the way of radio there?
Well, I've got the old Genav GA1000, but the nicest radio, of course, is the Loran.
Yeah.
I have an RNAV 20 that's been updated to a 21.
That just takes all of the skill out of flying anymore, doesn't it?
I even taught my wife how to enter waypoints and so forth, and she said, well, what are we going to do when the radio quits? And I said, then we'll go back to piloting.
Yep. Don't you like the DME feature on that?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Gives you your ground speed readout and everything.
Like coming in here yesterday with that real low visibility, we came right down the runway.
Yeah. It's great, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's wonderful.
Yeah, too bad we didn't have these 30 years ago or 40 or whatever.
I guess. We used to fly that P-51 with a 200 to 400 kilocycle detroller for navigation.
Yeah, right.
We didn't even have an ADF compass.
Horrible one.
Flew the range.
Well, let's see. Can you think of anything else different on your airplane?
Oh, I don't think so, Dick.
What kind of paint did you use on your?
I used Imron.
Did you? Seems to stand up well.
Oh, it stands up beautifully. You never have to wax it.
You paint it yourself or have?
No, I had a friend who's not a real painter do it.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
I didn't want to mess with that Imron. It's pretty wicked stuff.
Yeah, someone was telling us yesterday how bad it is to breathe it.
The automobile paint shops use an external air compressor and pump air clear from outside of the shop.
Where they wear a diving helmet, so to speak.
So it's pretty tricky stuff, and I didn't want to mess with that.
No, it's wise. Well, Nate, we thank you for your time and everything. Hope you have a nice trip home.
Thank you, Dick. This has
Appreciate
been a beautiful trip down here.
Yeah,
good facilities, good conferences.
Oh, we just had a hell of a good time, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
All right. See you later. Also, we see Bob Yakey from Dallas that's building the T18, and he's going to get a ride with Nate before he gets to go home. Now we're going to have to put up with that big grin on his face for about 2 weeks afterwards. We're talking to Gary Holt off the M1014 Zebra. And Gary, you were telling me you bought this airplane from up in Illinois, was it?
The airplane was built by a flying club, and then near the end of its construction, one of the fellows that was in the club bought out the other members. His name is Bob Gillen, and he finished it, flew it for several years, and then he died 4 years back, and I bought the airplane from his wife, Joan, and I've had the plane about 7 months, and I've put 200 hours on it in 7 months. And
I think you put 200 hours on it while here at the flying, because you were in the air more than anybody else I know of.
I think so, yeah.
First one in the air this morning I saw.
I'm not much on working on them. I've helped my dad a little bit on his, but
you don't really like to fly.
I like to fly it. That's right. And this plane, it's got 160 horse. It's shy on radio and instruments, but they constructed it well. The construction of their airframe is good, and it's got a good engine. And I burn a little less than 8 gallons an hour, and I can cruise 170 mile an hour. Cruise. And,
turning what RPM? 2,500?
About 24. About 24 is what I turned it at.
Well, that's a little less than 75% power.
Yeah. It's a good flying airplane.
John Thorpe said the way you tell what is 75% power, you take your maximum rated power, which on this engine's 2,700, and subtract 10% the RPM, and that'll give you pretty close to 75% power. Pretty good little rule of thumb to remember.
I'm real happy with these Thorpes. I've owned several factory-built airplanes, and they don't compare with this. I could go across the country faster.
You all are a T18 family now. Leroy's got his flying.
My dad's got one, and I sat around and watched him build it, and I told him that I was going to have one too, and he didn't believe me. And I did.
Okay. See, you live in Tulsa now, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Leroy lives in Savannah, Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's about 90 miles south of me, and I haven't drove to McAllister in several years.
Why don't you all just meet at midpoint at Muskogee?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a little lazy about his flying, though. He makes me fly the whole way.
Yeah. Well, Gary, appreciate talking to you.
Okay.
You all have a good trip home, and maybe we can do this again next year.
See you at Oshkosh.
Very good. Bye-bye. This is Leroy Holt's airplane, and we talked to him earlier on the tape, but we neglected to find out he's got something special in the way of a gap cover here we're going to cover.
The handle.
Yeah?
With a hex bar.
Uh-huh.
We don't have to reach up under the floor.
Okay, let me get around here where we can see what you're doing.
The hex screw up there.
Uh-huh.
Loosen it off. And I'm almost certain I put a cotter key in the end of it where I can't screw it all the way off. And and then I hooked it over the flap arms. The little bracket hooks over the flap arms.
Yeah.
I'll show you when I get it a little loose.
Now let me get in here where I can zero in on it a little closer. Okay.
And it has the slot cut. This drops into the slot and then pulls ahead and hits a stop. And then this affair here just hooks over the flap arms.
Yeah.
And then this screw pulls it all tight.
We're going to have to get you to do a little drawing and story for the newsletter on that feature.
I've got, I'm not a draftsman, but I've got several copies made already in Xerox that I can send people.
Oh, good. No, that'd be good.
Oh, goody. That's why I'm going to build it. It's a cold one.
Yeah. I showed several people at Oshkosh, and
I think that's probably a better deal than that other gap cover fair. And also, you don't have, it's so critical on trimming the skin for the outer wing to match up with the
I
center
never could get it to match good, and then folding it took forever because you had to be careful.
Yeah.
Stainless steel angle here that goes against that. You know, safety feature kind of belt extenders. I also put little angles up here.
On the electric trim he has in the right. I'll be talking to Jim Payne from Dayton, Ohio. And you actually live in Dayton, Jim, or is it close by?
I live south of Dayton, about 5 or 6 miles.
Oh, I see. What airport do you fly out of up there?
I fly out of New Carlisle, which is about 15 miles east of our Cox International Airport, north of Patterson. Field.
I see. Let's see, when did you start building this airplane?
I started the airplane in 1974, and I flew it in August of 84. 10 years.
In the age-hardened condition. 10 years old. Yeah. What engine you got in this, Jim?
It's got a 0320, 160 horse, normally aspirated.
Yeah. And you got which prop on it?
It's a pace setter.
Pace setter?
71 pitch.
Go on now. See, do you have a full IFR panel there, Jim?
Well, not really, no.
You got artificial horizon and most everything.
Just
what have you got in the way of radio equipment in it now?
I have an old Narco Mark 12 transponder, and I just got a new SGS Loran, which is very nice. It seems to work very well.
I didn't know they made a Loran yet.
Yeah, I got one of the first ones out. I had mine in when I flew to Lakeland this spring, so it worked quite well.
No complaints on it?
Not yet. It's working fine.
Great. You got all your engine instruments over here on the right side, I see, and all of your.
This is the tilt down instrument panel was in the newsletter, and it was certainly beneficial when I wired the airplane up.
See how far off of the dash panel you got you set back? About 4 inches?
It's back about 4 inches. Yeah. All I do is unbolt the throttle box, and all the cables and everything drop off.
See, you've got a little overhead light there, haven't you, up above on the...
Yeah, I have eyebrow lights for night flying, and then I use the flood to illuminate the smaller instruments and the switches above.
And what is that, a push-to-talk on your stick, or is that?
I have a RST intercom with voice actuated, and that's a transmit button on the stick for the radio. I've got electric trim, manual flaps, and the tilt-down instrument panel, and I put a little higher baggage floor in than I don't have a tunnel over the push-pull tube. My floor completely is over top of it.
That's the way mine is.
And I like that well. It's a removable floor, and that's the only...
What did you start to see?
Well, I'd like to say that I have thoroughly enjoyed this weekend, and
yeah, I think everybody has, Jim.
I would.
Good.
I think I'd like to come here more than Oshkosh, really.
Yeah.
Oshkosh is nice, but this is a lot more relaxed atmosphere, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm going to come back.
Well, how do you like the location? You think?
I think it's fine. It's reasonably centrally located, unless you're up in the state of Washington or the state of Maine. So I don't think it's bad at all.
Well, you know, almost any place in the United States you can get here in one day's flying.
That's true, and you know we're about 1,000 miles away, and that's not that big of a deal.
No.
Oshkosh is closer, but I'd rather come here.
Yep. Well, you were our T18 representative at Dayton, Ohio. When? 2 years ago or last year?
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the first, I guess, what they would say, local person that had ever. So I think.
Got a lot of traffic on the weekend.
I think Evie will make a fine representative this year.
I think so.
Yeah.
Beautiful paint jobs and everything.
It sure is.
Home and everything.
We're going to try to. We're going to go up and check out, and then we're going to head to Houston for a few days.
Are you?
Yeah, we have some friends we're going to visit down there, and then we'll head home.
Go see John Walton a little more while you're down
there. I might, yeah. I have electric trim.
I pointed at it down there,
the electric trim...
down there on the forward tunnel.
Yeah. It's a World War II surplus globe motor from a Norton bomb site's what it is.
Yeah.
But it still
we've
works.
got a variety of little electric motors and all these things.
Half of the stuff you never find again. You find what works.
Yeah. How fast does yours turn? Do you have any idea?
I have about 8 or 10 different gear ratios, and I'm still playing with them.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, when you get through one of these days, we'll write a little note about it, see what you think. Some paint did you use on that?
The paint is Sherman-Williams. It's a polyurethane.
The acrylid?
No, it's what they call their Sunfire fleet paint, and it's an equivalent to Imron. It's a polyurethane.
Well, I used Sherman-Williams acrylid on mine, and it's about the same thing as Imron also.
Yeah.
So maybe they got more than one brand.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I like the paint.
Look a long time.
Yes. Yes.
That means what?
Well, the Durham and Southern is the name of a railroad in North Carolina.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a railroad.
For 20 years or so, I built a model railroad in my basement, and I had people from all over the world come visit it.
Oh, you did?
So it was nationally known, model railroad, and as it turned out, I sold the railroad to buy the engine for my T18. So I felt the model railroad deserved a fitting tribute, so this is the Durham and Southern executive aircraft.
Well, we'll have to zero up on that. Almost noon here on May 10th, 1987. And everyone has had a super good time.
Okay. Next time.
Yeah. Let me know when you get real close to flying. I'll get a chance to come up and see you. Okay, here comes Dave Eagley on his little leg.
Well, metal on the side? No. Well, yeah, metal on. No, this is one that I just bought a replica. What was that? I'll take off.
Actually, you might as well grin and bear it, you know.
Dick wants to take a picture.
Oh, okay.
The name is familiar, but I don't think I know him. Take a picture, quick, Dick.
Hurry, we're never like this. You better hurry. Oh, really?
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, Gary. This is the guy that has the T18 where I see from the highway that I'm just dying to go up there and look at. Randall, right?
I put a BOR in it last year for one livestock, and just south of Atlanta, it broke. In fact, one year the year before last, Mom and I went down on down to the problem. I programmed Maya. He was with me. He didn't have the little ram. He was flying off on a wing, and I programmed the waypoint better 10 miles. Over that airport, that little alarm went off. F-16 right under.
Yeah.
Rolled in it. Yes, sir. Right there it is.
Line and death. No, I'm regular.
Yeah. You know, there's some Marines out there that are
You ever hear the story on the 135 Navigator? You never could stand to watch the takeoff. He's always hiding his eyes. So, getting ready to get this started. I thought maybe I'll watch one take off. So we had certainly hands and scrappy people to get his hands up. That thing's at ground level. Yeah. About the time the far end cable went under the nose, he got under the Well, you've been on that runway at Guam, you know. Yeah. Too, right? Takeoff, so I took off out of there at Okinawa one night with 9 F-5 fighters. This was C-5, and they took I built Slope Wolf 190 on the war job. Yeah. I couldn't get in and out of it, so I sold it. This guy down here to Dallas, and he had it about 6 hours and sold it. Never did get here. Stuck the wing in the ground and cartwheel it.
What engine is that again?
This one here is an 0360 A1G6.
Can't put much ballast for that this time for the prop.
This airplane has, it used to be in the x-ray business, so it had some lead weights laying around. We had it up on the scale, and I put one on there, and I never did weigh the piece of metal, but I think it's around somewhere between 13 and 15 pounds.
What do you cruise that with?
160. I raced it at Sun this year. That's standing start. That's the way you roll off. That was with 2 people in full load gear.
I'm gonna see what it did.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys down in Florida, they were egging me on. They said, "Come on, you say how fast that thing is. Let's see it go." And they all had T18s, and when I showed up, they weren't flying.
Well, they just wanted to see yours. They didn't want to do
I wanted to see if they have the kind that were made up there in north of Atlanta. Till that size, it would never get hot enough to take the water out of the oil.
Okay.
But see, this airplane, when it flies nose down, and it's just a direct ram in. Ramming right through there.
Is that because, what incident do you have set on the wing?
Well, it's plans 1 degree.
Okay.
But that's just the way, the nature of the beast. The engine's 5 degrees low to the water line.
Looks like, now that's that Dynafogle mount, right?
Yeah. I've modified it to fit around that carburetor.
Yeah,
the other modification is right here. That broke. That broke right there, and it broke on the other side. So we put, this is almost like a Mooney STC kit that they came out with to fix a crack problem.
That's fuel injection.
No, that's called a, that's a,
I thought if I got a hold of one, I'd like to try to find one fall on
yeah, I'm going to record.
Really? We, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And the thing is, you got to run that doctor.
That's true. No, I don't know. This thing, that particular how you doing? We have car gas to go over there.
I don't know. Hot rod.
Damn, Jim. Let's get over here.
Yeah. That guy there, he just, oh, there's somebody on the other end of the runway. Well, they sure look neat coming in, don't they?
Losing control, isn't it?
He lost control of it?
Yeah.
There goes Bob Yankee. Yankee put a count on his and came on in, didn't he?
Yes, man. Is that guy landing again?
Come in, there's the final. Maybe we're making him nervous. You got her down now, don't you? 36.
Fire in the baggage compartment on my camera.
What a... Get a bunch of good pictures and I'll get them blown up to the base and put them in the shop.
I'm trying to get you some. I wish I'd be ready for this guy, but he's moving too fast for this guy's a hot rod.
This one had trouble
land fast.
John, you're an inspector.
Hey, he's got a high wing that looks like when it comes on there. Just the top out. Hey, that's old Lee and Edwina. Who? Lee and Edwina?
Not yet.
John, you need some help?
I think I got it.
I think I pretty well got the sign down. Lose it.
Oh, hey, I've got one deck in my trunk. That's the whole
What do these cost? They got to be a lot higher than a regular one. Yeah, I think that.
I took myself. Can't be. Oh, I mean, the windshield on this thing.
Folding wing to overlap top and bottom and look good.
It's trouble.
And then too, I tried out in the garage folding it, and my wife would have to get a knife blade and run under it and all that stuff. And I thought, can't hack this in the wind out there, you know.
Yeah.
So I made a gap cover for it, and under here it's got a screw, and I just stick this deal in it like that. It hooks right over these flap arms. Well, it's not supposed to take that long because I didn't run it out far enough.
Isn't that slick? See, that's about how the PL4 does it. It has that wraparound.
That's all right.
Very snazzy. What does this end look like on that, under that flap?
See, I made a little deal right there.
Yeah.
And it drops down in there and hits these plates. Then when it slides forward, it hits a plate up and under there, and it can't go any further, see?
Okay.
And then I put this on just afterthought, just to go against that to make sure, you know, on it.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they would do it or not, but I put a little tab on there.
To help align it?
Oh, no.
Just to hold
Catch there,
just
yeah.
so it doesn't
vibrate now.
Yeah, well, that, my gap cover pushes against this because it comes back just this far. Like it's the regular.
Yeah.
That does.
And this right here, while I got it off, I'd like someone to look at it. See how it's... And
That's a weak...
it wasn't that way.
The guy in Australia, that's all it is, and he had drilled these rivets out. You could tell through the paint, you know, and he made a stiffer rib. Is that right? Yeah, because that rib isn't very strong when it comes to crushing, especially when you're pulling this down tight on it. And my unfolding wing one is doing that too.
I thought about just getting another rib and doubling them and riveting them together.
Yeah, you need something a little stronger to keep the rib from crushing lengthwise.
Really what did it, my son was flying it, and he likes to come down the runway 200 miles an hour and then just really pull it up, you know. And I kept telling him, I believe you're stressing too much. Oh, no, I'm not pulling in jeans at all, I kept telling him.
Yeah.
We went to Chicago and he bought that one right in front of it.
Yeah.
Wings straight and nice on. We brought it home the next week. He come down and both of his wings the same way. He said, I guess I was pulling a little more than I should have. I said, I bet mine too.
Yeah.
So that was what done it. Straight.
That's what he said. He said that rib takes too much of a crush and it's just not up to the strain.
I was thinking maybe of taking even a 40,000 piece and machining it to fit that rib and just angling it down to push it, to stiffen that.
Push the leading edge, yeah. I was wondering that.
But whatever I'm going to do, I'd like to do it before I paint it. That's why I want to talk to someone down here.
And we're talking about this rib right here.
Yeah, this nose rib right here.
Heavier rib, or at least...
You're right, I'd like to get a shot of that back of that gap cover.
The back of it here?
Yeah. That's right. You suppose we can take the whole thing out and get one shot of both ends.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good too.
Just take it out there and do the thing.
Maybe. What's causing that? Hold it for you or something?
This rib right here.
Would you rather lay it up on the wing?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Would you like to lay it on
What's
that?
it doing? It's compressing forward.
That's what the rumor is. It's compressing and causing a kink right here. That kink.
But you can't feel it on the rib, right? I don't feel the rib doing anything.
Like that. I
No,
really do.
It's real easy to yank it off. And
It
pull
is.
the
It's
wing.
easier than mine.
And
I got the fold wing over there too.
Uh-huh.
But I got the old regular type, and like you say, we were trailering that baby, and we come back from a flight, a lovely weekend, just perfect. Land and
Well, I can send you some sketches.
I got it. How soon I'm going to do it, I don't know.
Did you get the
I got that one though. And this right here was caused from just not fitting good and pulling screws too tight. These screws don't have to be very tight at all. In fact, I didn't even know I'd busted it until I pulled the masking tape off of it. I thought I'd done a great job.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody's told you at least a dozen ways to drill this stuff.
It seems that way, and the best seems like you just go up there and get some type of a wood the smallest wood or flat?
The way I drill this, I took a 3/32 drill, real small one, and put my pilot hole through, which there's no danger of breaking this with a 3/32 drill, you know. And then I just took a regular old steel countersink, that you countersink steel with. You know, it's got 4 cutting flutes on an angle, and they don't cut, they scrape. And I put a wood block behind it and clamp it. After I got my holes in it, it was laying on the table. And I walked up and just picked it up like that and just tucked that in the socket hole. It won't break. You use a metal countersink. You need to run it, because if you run it a little bit too fast, it'll burn your finger. So just, and it makes a real nice hole, no burrs, no nothing.
No, you got the eyeball, vents?
Don't have no vents up there.
Oh, you don't?
But I'm going to have to do something, I think.
Yeah.
But they told me that this would give you all. And I got a feeling that the people that don't have this cut out here on top do get plenty of ventilation from this. I think my air is going down in there instead of blowing on up to me.
Yeah. This kind of sucks in on ways aerodynamics is.
Yeah, it pulls the air in. In fact, you start taxiing away from here, if you rev the engine just the least bit, it'll slam that cockpit shut on you real quick.
On mine, it's got a vent back here, and you got a duct goes all the way to the bottom of the fuselage, and it's vented out. That seems to work pretty good.
I guess going out the bottom, it would pull air through, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it goes out the bottom, and you got the 4 eyeball vents up there. This is just a T18 CW version, or just more or less?
Yeah, it's the wide body folding wing, you know.
Okay.
It's
I want to talk to them about it. I got that beige one over there. See how the windshield comes down? Yeah. I was thinking about modifying the windshield, you know, bringing it up like the rest of them. And then I talking about the NASA scoops, you know? Talking about maybe putting some NASA scoops right there when I modified the windshield. But I was wondering though, how much warm air exhaust am I going to get from the engine?
that's what I'm afraid of about putting them here.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'll get warm air instead of cold.
I said flying last weekend at Roanoke Rapids, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it, and I couldn't find him, you know, I didn't get to talk to him. I was going to ask you, you know, how well it's done. I didn't get a hold of him. You know.
That was one of my worries about putting them even down. But I got to get some more air in.
Well, I just have to take the back out of my...
This one has that little bump too.
You can find a lot of them that are like that. He's been hospitalized.
Yeah, they really
are. Amazing. How's the Lancer killer?
So,
We need to go.
when we got home, it was
That's a
pretty good.
composite airplane. They're supposed to come fast.
Yeah, well, I've got to get over and take a look at that. I've got a friend
You
named
have to make all the pieces for it. It might go along a little fast.
What pieces you have to make?
All your brackets and fittings and...
Well, maybe they come pretty much kit form.
It comes, all the big pieces all come for them, but...
What's that, Lancer?
I'm helping a guy on a glass hair, and you know, a lot of people think when you buy a glass hair, boy, you got it knocked, but it's the same deal that you're talking about. The little stuff will just wear you down.
How late a kit of glass hair have you got?
Oh, it's the first one. The second one.
Yeah, it's 216.
Yeah. A friend of mine in Tulsa is building one, and he had to make all those brackets, but then a friend over in Bentonville bought a later one, and all those parts came supplied with his. Of course, the price is double.
Yeah.
Our friend in Joplin's building one, and he finally got burned out on it. He's having to go down to Tulsa to finish it for him.
Roger White?
Roger White,
Yeah. Excuse me, sir.
That's slicker than snot on a brass doorknob.
I always like to get pictures of the pictures that the guy that's taking for those poses. Look at that. You think it's in a sex movie or something? Hey, they've been known to do that, I'll tell you. Well, that's John? Are you checking for...
Are you filming that, or are you going to get in there? It went back in the other side.
Oh, I'll be darned. Instead of standing on your head and the baggage comes out.
Oh, and sweat.
I just figured out how to do that.
Yeah, you know, maybe you sweat when you do it in grass.
You're using a 25 or 35.
Grass?
Yeah.
It's 35 feet.
I was going to put my cover on, but I've got lawn chairs and everything else back in the top of my cover.
He said he wasn't going to put his on for that.
Adapter blocks on the back of that. Adapter blocks.
Gary!
I don't know that they go like lots
It's easy, it's right there.
What? I don't know, I have to look in there in just a second. I think I got over an hour worth.
Oh, and he's all...